we've got a very special guest here, Gary Parker from the great state of Tennessee. And we want to figure out what makes Gary tick, what makes Gary successful. I'm a little bit green on this whole YouTube live streaming, but we do have this 6 days per week, Monday to Thursday, 12 noon Eastern time, Saturday, Sunday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And let's get right over to Gary. And I'll switch this over to screen share so you could see exactly what I'm looking at as well.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent. We're going to try to learn this. Remember, in the business world, you imitate people that are doing well. People on YouTube are doing well. So, why reinvent the wheel? Just let's do what they're doing. And Gary, let me see how I get you to be bigger on the streaming service that I am using, which is called Restream. Let me see what it says here. It says here, remove guest, which is not what I want to do. Let's get you as the primary instead of me as the primary. In fact, I don't even know how to work this. That's the problem. Well, I see. We have to add you. I've got you. I did a split. Right now, we're doing a split screen. So, Gary, if you could move over a little over to the left so you're in the center of the screen. But in any case, Gary, we do have this call, as I mentioned, 6 days per week. And if I say the same thing over and over, which is free website, free quote engine, please put the website in your own domain name, do the proper steps to move up the search engine, it'll get a little bit boring.
Yeah.
You have to keep it exciting. The algorithm of YouTube and all these search engines are as follows. It's all based on time on site. They know how long people stay on a site, and long videos tend to work best. We may or may not. You may know that YouTube now has a service where you pay $10 per month for an individual. I believe it's $15 or $20 for a family plan.
Yeah.
And you can get those ads off the site. So they definitely are favoring longer videos. On your cell phone, if you're listening to music, then a phone call comes in or you open up another application and you switch over to that, the song will shut off. But if you pay the $10 or $15 a month, the song stays on. And that's why YouTube is favoring long videos, which are similar to podcasts. So anyone in the marketing business, it's a very good idea. It's not just not a bad idea. It's a very good idea to always be abreast of the changes in marketing, in sales. And right now, YouTube is hot. It's been hot for the past couple of years. Unfortunately, I've only decided to make the move in the last couple of weeks instead of 4 years ago. I'm sure if I did make that move 4 years ago, my financial situation would be markedly better. But that is the situation at present. We do have Gary on this call. Where do you live right now?
Memphis, Tennessee.
You grew up in Memphis, Tennessee?
Yeah, I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee, went to the Navy, stayed all around the country, and then just moved back to Tennessee in 2010.
So the Navy, you mentioned to me previous you were in Chicago, Illinois. You spent a little bit of time there?
Oh, yeah, when I was in the Navy, going to boot camp, A school, stuff like that. Yeah, it was about maybe 6 to 8 months.
Oh, not a long time. So you saw a big city, you saw those tall buildings, and you moved, and now you're back to where you grew up.
Yeah.
Okay, Gary, you also mentioned to me you're a phone professional. You've been on the phone for quite a few months already, straight.
Yeah. That's the only way I feel like doing it, and given the times that it just feels like the right thing to do to stay in stride with the market.
And what are you selling now?
Recently, I've strayed away from final expense because everybody wants IULs, Index Universal Life policies. And I think it has something to do with how I get my leads and acquisition my leads at this point in time. But now that I'm like in contacts and I got like 3,000 plus leads from a source that you provided and the site provided, I didn't necessarily know how to do it. It's just making it a lot easier on me. They start today. I got to listen to some phone calls and hire my first person.
Gary, you probably know there's a lot of people online on the internet that are really recruiting final expense agents. It's just I guess it's much easier for them to recruit new agents, get these people in at relatively low commissions. Final expense, is dealing with lower income, older, unsophisticated type people. People that relate to them, I guess, would be from the same type of mindset. And these recruiting companies, they work on margin. If they could bring people into their system that have a problem doing a Google search and searching for better deals, and they're easily able to be deceived, they could get you really at these very low commissions, and that's the entire profit margin for the marketing company. In addition, that a lot of these marketing companies are really lead sellers.
Yeah, they really all they are is lead sellers. I just so happen to get lucky and get a good commission from you guys, and I got a lot of insight on a lot of commissions that I was paid because they really just selling leads, period. And if you go down to the bottom of the search engine, if you search hard enough, you can find some cheap leads that's really good, exclusive leads too.
Okay, so you're transitioning. I guess you feel comfortable in what you're doing, that you feel like you're a professional, and you could. I suppose when you get into any business, you start at whatever you're told, whatever people tell you is good, which is primarily what the recruiters are telling you. Wherever they're making money, that's what they're saying. Hey, this is good. But you figured out that the professional people are selling this retirement planning, these especially mutual insurance companies. If you sell a whole life policy for retirement planning purposes, the interest rate is between 5 and 6%, and that's you show the illustration to someone. That's impressive. The index universal life is a little bit more complicated, but not much. But it's still an illustration. And that's going to show a little bit more than 6%. It's less guaranteed, but it's sellable. When you show that, it's sellable.
It's a lot of insurance companies try to market those as investment vehicles now.
Right, and retirement planning is the word they use. I can tell you the number one most well-known company for the last 100 years is called New York Life. They hire and recruit constantly. For the last 100 years, they start agents at 55%. They tell you, learn the product, make a list of your 200 closest people in your warm market, friends, families, 200 people, right out of the list of 200 people. And I got to tell you, they're reasonably successful. They've been doing it for over 100 years. It just so happens my company has a really good contract with one particular company that allows me to offer just about double. If we take the numbers, we start people at between 90 and 100%. A major mutual life insurance company, they've got various marketers bringing people in at 30, 40, 50%. So the one thing they definitely do not want me to do is give their name online. On YouTube or emails, which is completely logical, because it would definitely rock the boat, because there are people selling these products at 30, 40, 50, 60%, and they would definitely be upset if I was to announce it. So I am free to say that the market leader of recruiting agents and training agents, it's called New York Life. The difference between what they do and what I do is, with them, you start at 55%. With us, it's between 90 and 100%.
Yeah.
But it's virtually the same product. For the most part, what they do, Gary, is they have you learn the product from A to Z, where you could pivot from one product to another, where you really become a financial service expert. And they want you to develop relationships and present illustrations to those first 200 people on that list. And we flip over to our lead system at NAIP, and there's a lot of good information here where you could purchase leads if you want, but stuff related directly to what you're doing, it would be more to the incentive-based marketing and referrals. When you do get in front of these first 200 people, a lot of good information about referrals. Then we scroll here where it says incentive-based marketing. But let's get back to Gary.
Yeah.
Scroll down a little bit. There was information about referrals, a lot of good information about referrals. Then incentive-based marketing is where you give stuff to someone that causes them to like you. In the retirement planning realm, I guess it would be websites. If we give away free websites, free quote engines to anyone who wants it, who sells insurance. We help you move it up the search engine, or at least tell you what you have to do. I suppose anyone who owns a business, that would be helpful too, and those people would really like you. I would definitely want you to put the website on your own domain name, which I'm not sure if you've done already.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that now. Actually,
it takes
I would,
3 minutes. 3 minutes. That's all it takes.
Yeah, I need to after this. I need to holler at you, and you gotta walk me through that. I'm not the most
Okay, I'm
technological savvy.
gonna walk you through it right now. I'm gonna share my screen again. If you're looking at my screen, let
Yeah,
me click over to the share screen again. At the top of naaip.org, leads is everything about leads. Domains is here. Scroll down, down, down. You've got all the information. It talks about starting off at GoDaddy for $5. Then they move it up to $10 a year, then to $18 a year. Eventually, you probably should move it over to a company called Cloudflare, which does it for $8.03 per year, which is the wholesale price. What else we talk about here? You've got the free logo maker, but as a financial salesperson, it's probably best to put your picture instead of making a logo.
yeah.
You've got a Nape YouTube video. That's a 13-minute video, which explains how to move up the search engine, or at least the important points. Time on site, original content, Google Local, Bing Places, Facebook, Twitter, Blogspot, or whatever links. Those are the keys. All Google is doing is trying to figure out who the real companies are. And if you have original content and good time on site, Google believes that you're the real company, and they'll put you at the top, especially for Google Local and Google Maps. You've got here Cloudflare, I mentioned, where you could get a domain for $8.03 per year. Examples of good domain names. Keep in mind, when you're choosing a domain name, your job is to be impressive.
Yeah.
A lot of people buy domains trying to outsmart the market by putting in keywords. Unless you could buy insurance.com or medicare.com or lifeinsurance.com, you have to go with something that's available and impressive. For the most part, your name, a word.com is the most impressive way to do it. We've all heard of Dean Witter, Charles Schwab, Payne Weber, Merrill Lynch. These are just clear, impressive sounding names. They sound good. They are impressive. Your name is somewhat common. Gary Parker, gparkerfinancial.com, where you could come up with, but shorter is better. On domain names, Geico has been running ads for the last 30 years, it seems, forever. And every ad they put on is Geico. They punch on there geico.com. You could imagine you should be doing the same thing. Once you own a domain name, instructions for putting website on your own domain name with proper hosting, it's a step 1 and step 2. You have to tell the domain company that my company is hosting your stuff. Second step is you tell my company that we're hosting your stuff, and that's in the profile settings. We say input your domain name under that format. It's not very difficult. It really takes 2 or 3 minutes. There is a 3-minute YouTube video right here. You click that, and you should be good to go. I could do it for you. What we're really trying to do is encourage people to sell through us, with these game-changing recruiter-level commissions for the few companies that we are encouraging people to work with. I suppose if you're making sales on a regular basis, I could do stuff for you. Everyone is interested in leads. The most impressive lead system out there is called incentive-based marketing. If you could set up a website for one of your hypothetical or potential clients, these people are going to love you.
Yeah.
And you could only set it up for your prospective client if you see how easy it is. But definitely do it yourself.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It's super easy from what I'm seeing, but I've been so focused on other parts of the business that I just not got around to that.
Well, you have to choose a domain name. You could only do this after you own a domain name. So, there's nothing to talk about unless you make that purchase.
Yeah.
So hopefully you'll get this done, Gary.
Yeah.
And good things will happen. Have you sold? So you're gearing up. You're switching from the final expense to the IUL.
Yeah, I've been selling a lot of IULs this week. A lot of people have been interested in term and IUL because I've kind of capped my leads off at 60 and below, 25 and up, 65 and below. So I get a lot of prospective IUL clients.
I have to mention the traditional way that New York Life has been doing this the last 50, 60, 70 years is really getting in front of someone face to face, not so much telephonically, because you are getting sales that are 30, 40, $300, $400, $500, $800 a month. These are big sales.
Yeah.
You could sell this stuff telephonically, but you have to, when you're about to make $8,000, you might as well be within some sort of driving distance, so you could have these people feel comfortable. You can imagine someone's forking over $8,000 a year. They have to, feel some sort of connection with you. The illustration does sell itself. When you show someone the illustration that shows, 5, 6, 7, some really big interest rates compounded, and that turns into a pension plan, so a retirement plan. They can borrow from the money. Fast forward on a loan.
Yeah.
Let me flip over. Let me do some screen sharing again. Share screen. We flip over we Google the word IUL information. I wrote a page. It's right at the top. You could imagine, Gary, when I give you advice on moving up the search engine based on what you just saw, when I Google the word IUL information being at the top, I may know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let me. If you look at this page, this is a pretty good explanation of an index universal life. I've never sold IUL. I've never even looked at it, but I could tell you, when I wanted stuff to go to the top of the search engine, I did a little bit of research. I wrote this stuff in layman's terms. Apparently, based on the algorithm of Google, I did a good job, because it's probably getting really good time on site.
Yeah.
So there's one thing I remember, I do recall from writing this page, that I had no idea what an AG 49 look back period. So I cut and pasted a couple of paragraphs. I made it original content. AG look back period. What is it? Boom. This is the answer right here.
Yeah.
But this is a cut to the chase explanation of an IUL. And your job as a salesperson is always to explain stuff in a layman's term and be in your own convincing way that this is the best for the client. And those illustrations really do sell themselves. But what you'll probably notice is the people at again, New York Life, which I keep on mentioning, because I cannot mention the company that we're pushing, that we're encouraging people to contract with, because we're starting people at these sky high commission levels. You mentioned final expense. We start everyone off at 122% as well, which is a little bit crazy. They're in the marketplace.
Yeah, but I know with my company you're talking about, they offer some really good products. They definitely do, in comparison to a lot of people.
Well, especially if you're a new agent, oftentimes you really get stuck with these terrible deals. Terrible deals plus low commission levels. The marketing company that you're dealing with, they're really trying to empty out your bank account, selling you leads, with the knowledge that you probably will not be in the business fast forward not you personally, but a very high percentage of people coming in won't be in this business a year or two from now. So they're really just trying to empty out your bank account.
Yeah. I know a certain company that's actually recruits new agents all the time, and I imagine that turnover rate is like extremely high, even for an insurance company that's not paying any salaries. They kind of bet on the new agents. That's why they make them pay a certain amount of money up front.
There's one company which I can't even mention the companies we're dealing with, because the companies that we're dealing with also deal with these other companies. And if I mention their name and my company's name, if I mention that marketing company that you're talking about, plus I mention the company that we're encouraging you to sell, it would be a huge phone call that would be happening within 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, you in the insurance game. It's lawsuits flying around for any reason. That's why I ain't saying.
I do know that there's this one company that starts people off at 30% commission.
Yeah.
They have you pay a monthly fee to be part of their organization. They put out
Yeah.
a video which has, right at the beginning of the video, it has a guy in a Ferrari, encouraging, hey, build your team, become a millionaire, drive a Ferrari, just like in. I don't want to get a name company. I just got some sort of email because I'm on their email list. Was bragging about their demographics of their company. They're really targeting they're so proud that it's Hispanic women that are a major part of their company. But we all know that when you're striving for to make money in a business, it's you get in front of a person, you close a deal. That's all
That's
it is.
it. That's it.
It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. There are certain demographics that have better reputations for doing certain businesses. Again, I don't like to get into anything controversial. Hispanic woman as closes on insurance products. It's not like part of the stereotype.
Yeah, it is, and I don't. It's not, to me. It's not even about when they start promoting that. I'm like, all right, whose competency was I? And I actually investigate these companies before I found you guys. I actually investigated these companies. Do you have product training? Do you have this? Do you have that? I don't care who's running it,
Right.
whether it's whoever.
I can't mention that company's name for obvious reasons, but I believe what they're actually doing is they're targeting people that aren't good at using Google.
Yeah.
If English is your second or third language, sometimes it's a little bit hard to do a search of best deal or best commissions or best tools for insurance agents.
And it's best for me to get a little more educated client or a technologically savvy client, because I sell over the phone, and you have to understand how to use an email at least.
Right.
And some leads I used to get 60 and up. People never seen their email. They have one. They don't use it for nothing. So it's just a 30-minute conversation could drag on to be an hour and a half conversation.
Is it hard to sell these bigger type policies just based on a phone call?
Not really. Not for me, because when I was selling door to door, face to face, I really wasn't making a lot of sales. I closed two policies, one for about 600 and one for about 700. Combined that with the same guy. It's really easy. It's really easy. You just have to know how to have a conversation and how to talk to people. Certain key phrases, build trust, and don't screw them up. If they need something on you, they got my licensing information in that state, and they can always file a complaint or get my license complained upon. And that's what I use.
Okay, so Gary, so it's only recently that you signed up for our technology. Once you signed up for our technology, you were aware that we do offer substantially higher commissions than other places.
Yeah.
And so we are in the process right now of finishing up the contracting process. But you did mention maybe you're not that aware, but my company really does not provide much training.
Oh, no, but then too, you offer a free site. I'm a marketing guy. I have to build my own business. There's no shortcuts around success. So if I'm going to build a team, then I have to show them how to sell this stuff. And there's plenty of product training on YouTube.
Right. And also the insurance companies want you to learn their product. And
yeah.
I'll harken back to the New York Life, because that's a company that no one in my organization is contracted with. Anyone who works for New York Life only works for New York Life. They're not using anyone else. So I can mention them till tomorrow because they're not associated with anyone that my company is affiliated with. They have you learn their product from morning till night for quite a few weeks. And mutual insurance companies have quite extensive product lines. And at a certain point, you do feel comfortable where you see any client and the company that the mutual insurance company that we are encouraging people to contract with is a top 5 insurance carrier, very similar product line. They have everything except final expense.
Oh yeah.
We've got that other company that has all the final expense stuff. So between those two carriers, you should be good to go. But our niche to get people in the system is the website, free forever, no strings, no catches. Especially if you go through the different clicks in the back office, you will see video there where you can upload video. At the very top, it looks very pretty, or a slider header, which takes up to 4 images. Very, very high tech. If you ever run into a business owner, not a bad idea to help that business owner out with your technological know-how. A lot of people believe this is confusing or difficult, but it's not. Once you do it one time, you'll see how simple it is. But let me get back to Gary. So how long have you been selling insurance?
For about 2 years, off and on. I really just been kind of going hard at it for the last since October.
Okay, your phone is echoing. Maybe you're an Uber Conference Plus. Maybe that's the reason. If you can get off, just stay on this restream.
All right, stay on restream. All right. Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, now it's a little bit better.
All right, yeah. So I've been selling since October, consistently over the phone. I got up with a couple of companies that got me licensed for free, and then I left there and I started kind of just building my business from there, building my competency from there, and then now I'm trying to get capable at doing this. I know a little bit about marketing, so I kind of take my time with it, but I just put in a lot of keywords in there yesterday, and I'm about to start putting a lot of content on my page today.
Gary, let me ask you, whatever contracting you did through my company is just recent, so I imagine nothing has gone through yet. How many sales? Let's say the first. Who did you start off with 2 years ago?
Banker's Life, and Colonial Penn.
A Banker's Life, from my recollection, they specialize in Medicare and final expense. Is that correct?
Yep. But Medicare, final expense, and a couple of other products. They really push those IULs that they have.
They have the IULs? I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, they have IULs. They don't really sell a lot of them because you have to overfund those. From my recollection, you have to overfund those.
I didn't even realize they sold it. I remember them from years ago, and it must be a recent phenomena. And what commission level did they start you off at?
I think it was like 95%, 95%.
On the IUL and the final expense?
I'm thinking I never sold an IUL with them. But it was pretty much
on the final expense. It was 95%.
95% on the final expense, and 95% on pretty much everything, and 85% on guaranteed issue.
Did they set you up with any lead system or encourage or salary?
No, they didn't set me up with a salary. They had a lead system. They were pretty much a lot of AIDS leads that the company would buy. That's why you wouldn't get 100% or something like that. And from what was explained to me, they're going to take out of your commission because of the leads.
Oh, they would sell the leads to you?
No, they kind of was, yeah, in that sense, yeah, because they still taking it out of your commission.
And how long did you stick with them?
Probably 3 months, 4 months.
Did you make any sales?
I made one sale by myself, but they was more focused on collaborative sales. And if you could stand on your own, then you didn't necessarily have to come in the office. But if you couldn't stand on your own like I was, and I was brand new to the business, they would have me ride with people and we split commissions.
And you made one sale on your own?
One sale, and that took 3 weeks.
And you were there for 3 months total?
Yep.
Were you doing it full time?
I was doing it full time for a lot of times. Doing it full time, 8 hours a day, 9 to 5, sometimes 6, and on the weekends.
And how many sales did you make during that 3 months period?
Uh, I collaborated in 12 sales. I made one on my own. Wasn't a lot of money.
So the 12 sales, you split the commission with the manager.
Split the commission with whoever I was in the car with.
And that you were going on the lead, on the postcard lead, or however they got the lead with that person.
Pretty much.
So that was not enough to make a living. Am I correct in that?
No, it wasn't.
It was not. So you had to move on. Where did you move on after that?
I went to a manufacturing company. I started working because I came into the business with a lot of money, kind of ran through all my money after 4 months. Had to pay rent, had to pay light bills, I got a son, so I had to go to a warehouse. Did that, hated it, came back to insurance, thought it was a better way to do it. That's why I only sell over the phone, because I get at least one sale a day. And then I wasn't even doing that in 4 months. And then I had to split the commission. Like,
So
so
it didn't work with Banker's Life, and you could only sell their product.
yeah, you can only sell it. They were extremely captive. They sued a couple of guys I knew in other states.
Okay, when you came back after working in a factory, what did you do? How long were you in the factory?
About almost a year, about 11 months.
So you said, hey, you say you like to talk, you like to close. It's fun. You must get some sort of high from, excitement from getting that person to agree. Say, I agree. Let me give you my.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting because once you got the social and the bank account, and you see that trust, and they know you're not gonna do them wrong, and they know you're not a scam. Then yeah, it's exciting when you give them that policy number.
And it's easier than working in a factory.
Substantially easier. Substantially. I could have died at work. I could have really died.
Remember all that good stuff that we have in our house,
yeah,
lamps and computers. Someone has to put that together.
Yeah.
And that's probably not fun. There's no work enjoyment, building a computer 8 to 10 hours a day.
Yeah, and at the factory I worked at, they did food products, soy, all the soy for all food products, or most food products. We manufactured the soy, baby formula, and all of that. It's just a soy factory.
I don't want to, imagine, how people smell after 12, 11 months of working in a soy factory.
Yeah, it's nasty. It's nasty. You wouldn't believe it. Man.
Okay, so after taking, cleaning yourself up for probably a couple of days, you came back into the insurance business. What company or products were you selling after that?
I came back into the insurance business, worked for a company. They mostly focus on final expense, accidental death, and critical illness products. I did a little better, and I saw a lot more opportunity, even though I kind of started off because my licensing issues and the appointments wasn't on time. I didn't get appointed till I was on the phone for about 2 weeks in certain states and things like that. So I had to turn down sales or give sales to somebody else.
So you're working in a call center?
No, I was working from the house. I was working from the house.
You Googled something, you found something. What company was this for? What marketing company was this through?
This was through Select Quote. Now, they wasn't necessarily a marketing company.
They were a marketing. Select Quote, from what I recall, they sell term life over the phone.
Yep, they sell term life. I was in the final expense department. They sell car insurance. They sell everything.
They started off in term life. They were making money. They expanded to other product lines, and they brought you, based on your demeanor or whatever it happened to be. They say, hey, start selling final expense. And how many sales? What was the commission level on that?
It was probably 3 months premium, 2-3 months premium start off somewhere around there.
Like, I'm not so good at mathematics, but there's 12 months in a year, so 2 or 3 months, that's 25% of the first year commission.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty much it. And then you times that by half, and it kind of however many leads, because you don't really pay for the leads and the inbound transfers you get. So depending on how many you take, you can make a good money. But if you take too many and don't sell a lot, you might not make anything. You might only make half a month's premium.
And
And
if you're not closing, they're going to stop giving you leads.
If you're not closing, they're gonna fire you. If you're not closing, in that first month, they told me if I didn't make $20,000 in yearly premium, I was gone, and I only submitted $18,000 worth of policies.
So 18,000 times 25%. So you made $5,000 that first month.
No, I only made first month, and then their pay schedule is kind of crazy too. They try to avoid the chargebacks, so you only get paid on the 10th and the 25th. So if I close a policy after the 10th or after the 15th, I'm not getting paid on that policy to probably next month on the 25th.
Okay, so how many months were you working for them?
1.5 months.
Very sure. Did they fire you or you quit?
Yeah, they got rid of me because of lack of production.
Did they pay you for anything after you got fired?
Yeah, they paid me for a couple of policies I closed that the start date was at the top of January. So they paid me like $700 for those policies, and I know those policies were every bit of 10 grand. So $700 out of 10 grand, that was pretty much my commission. I didn't really follow up.
How much money did you make during that 6 weeks period?
Maybe about 3 grand. 3 grand plus the other 700 they gave me.
So
is what I made in total.
Close to $4,000 in 6 weeks. So it was acceptable. So if you stayed,
I would have stayed with them.
It would have stayed with them if you got good at that. If you had the close, and you were up to I should mention you may not, maybe the cost of living is a little bit less in Memphis, Tennessee, but the average salary in America now is $1,000 a week. If you're in commission sales, which is not a fun job, even though, and it's a highly skilled job, it's something that most people can't do. Closing over the phone or closing in person, you have to have some sort of inner desire, inner weirdness to constantly be speaking to people and cause them to pay money. You really should be making double that national average, which is $2,000 a week. So I suppose if you stayed with Select Quote, they probably have to pay their people between $70,000 and $100,000 if they're successful.
Yeah, between that range, everybody's in the 100. There's a lot of people in the $100,000 club though, but most people only really make about 70 to 80,000.
Right, that makes sense because you got if you want people to stick around, that's they do have a skill set.
Yeah,
your job, but it is good training as a
it's awesome training. Awesome training.
I mean, when I say the word training, I don't necessarily mean someone telling you what to do and how to do it. The fact that you were in front of a computer with a headset on and constantly talking for 8 to 10 hours a day, that was the training.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Inevitably, you become good. A lot of these marketing companies, they say we've got awesome training, which is a red flag for bogusness.
Yeah.
Because the training is exactly what you did. You get in front of a phone, you become a good talker. Ideally, you really should do it for 4, 5, 6 months. If you do it for 4, 5, 6 months, you become awesome. You're at the stage to become awesome. But after that Select Quote, what happened?
I got up with another marketing firm. Now they're a true marketing firm, but there's another insurance IMO Family First. Switched my license because when they got rid of me, they said we're not gonna hold you captive for 6 months. So I had to understand the transition. So I transitioned from my Mucil of Omaha down upline to Family First upline. And then I've been going up with them ever since, and I've been transferring a lot of different people. Tried to get up with another, few other IMOs, but it just wasn't. It just wasn't taken. I just get contracted through all these different people, and I have to transfer
Okay,
for
when you
my
mentioned
upline.
Gary, I did mention if I, certain companies or marketing companies or insurance companies, if I personally mention these companies, immediately phone calls happen.
Okay.
There's quite a few companies that are trying to put my company out of business.
Yeah.
The obvious reason, we're offering substantially higher commissions than anyone else out there. We're offering a needed technology at no strings, no catches, no nothing, which is quite. It could be that these other marketing companies could match the commission level that we're offering, but there's no way in heck that they can match this technology that we're giving to you for free.
Yeah,
I
that's why I'm here, because once I got with a lot of IMOs, and I just started to see the game. I started to
right,
see what was
right.
really going on.
The if you ever run into a marketing company that says we've got great training, which I know a lot of these companies are using that line, it's a red flag for bogusness. It's complete
Yeah.
bogus. You're the guy
Yeah.
who gets in front of the client. You're the guy who closes the deal. You're the guy who should be making all the money.
Yeah, and once I started, I understood the sales nature of all of these different companies. So yeah, I was appointed with through a lot of different IMOs that offered pretty decent. I would say decent, not as good as the ones you're giving, but decent. I don't have to make 100 sales to make a living.
I,
So it's like, once I figured that out, they want you to go onto their Slack channel or their Zoom channel, tell them every sale you got. I'm like, that's when
this,
I was like, okay, I just want to get paid. If it's information, fine, but I just want to get paid. I'm not really with the whole I'm for to promote every sale I do. I just want to make a living. And that's it. I want to do to make the best business moves I can possibly make. And with your company, it's people selling what you're doing right now for a lot of money. And I got to think with the business mind.
well,
I'm like, they
actually,
giving.
since we do have substantially higher commissions than other places, we're trying to be incredibly attractive to players in the
Yeah.
business. A player in the business, if you offer him 5% more money, he'll switch. He'll concentrate on the product you're pushing. If you offer him 20% more, you know it won't even be close.
Yeah.
Ideally, it's the players in the business who close all the deals.
Yeah. Because I
Uh,
talked to other insurance agents that just became agents, and they kind of like drunk the Kool-Aid a little bit, and they cool with the 30%. And I'm like, look, man, I got a little thing I got working on. Let me see how it goes. Now I'm like, yo, I need to sign y'all up right quick, because do you have this carrier? Do you have this carrier? Is your company captive? I can get you a better lead. Just understand what's going on. Understand the underwriting and all that. You got to do that as an insurance agent. But once you understand that and get that in the back of your head, you can talk on the phone. You can make presentations. You can tell people about certain policies. So it's just being a good agent. And if I'm going to sign some people up, I don't want the high turnover rate as everybody else, because they paid $200 just to even be associated with a company. This
okay, Gary.
company, right?
So ever since that time when you got fired from Select Quote, you've continued to be in the business.
Yeah, I continue one for my son, which he's making a lot of racket around here. But I wanted to be around my son. I was going through a lot of court battles and stuff like that with trying to get custody of him. But I needed to be at the house, and a rotating shift in a warehouse wasn't it. So I had
Right,
to make
but
this work.
if you can make the warehouse work, how much are they paying nowadays?
Well, the one I was at, it was pretty good for Memphis. It was about they was paying me about $22 an hour. And it was like, and the job before that, I was working at a pharmaceutical warehouse, and they was paying about 24. So
Drug prices are through the roof. The government
yeah,
is, there's a lot of money in drugs.
oh yeah. So I that's pretty good, but I got more money now than I ever had, and this cause in December I made a decision. I'm not going back to a warehouse. I have to make this work. I know it didn't work out with SelectQuote, but it's a lesson in that, and I have to learn it. So, and it's just I got to be a student of the game, and I got to be a player in the game. That's really what it's all about. I can't go for the nonsense. I can't go for nothing, and that's why I'm
You
here.
can't go for these marketing companies that are trying to sell you. When a company says, "Hey, we'll give you training, we'll give you leads," and it's really just a big mess. You know what this business takes. It's all you. The
Yeah,
insurance companies are counting on you to get in front of people, whether it be telephonically or in person, and close the deal. That's why they're
yeah.
paying.
That's why they pay. They don't pay because you hop in there and be like, I just submitted a policy. I just submitted a policy. I'm cool with that. I'm not a real sales guy. I'm an information guy. And I can tell you what your options are all day, and I can tell you your options and tell you what you're doing, what's going on with this product versus that product. I don't really sell anything, but I make a sale or two every day, and that's enough to keep my
And that
lights on.
that
Like,
more than the average. If you get into the higher end market, which is the IULs and the bigger type financial products, retirement planning, you'll notice that the average sale is $2, $3, $4, $5,000 a year, and that money
yeah,
goes in your pocket.
in my
So
pocket.
it's not middle class lifestyle. It's not middle upper. It's
It's
upper.
it's definitely a different conversation. I also got up with another IMO that was giving me free leads, but their leads were mostly final expense. And since I've been getting my own leads from a couple of different sources until my other guy shows up, he it's a different conversation all the way around. It's just a different conversation. It's unsophisticated versus a sophisticated conversation. It's like a sophisticated villain in a movie would be somebody who's a little bit more complex than an unsophisticated storyline with the villain is just all bad. Like it's a little bit more complicated than that.
I get you, Gary. So, in essence, I do thank you for being here. I do have this call Monday to Thursday, 12 noon Eastern time, Saturday, Sunday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Gary, you have to get good at your profession, or I should say you have to always improve and focus on what's making the money. You do have the skill set. You do have the enthusiasm. You're young and strong. You're relatively
Yeah,
young and strong. So you've got the energy now. If you don't take advantage of the energy you have in this part of your life, it's not
yeah.
coming back. It's not coming
It's
back.
not gonna matter. My dad told me that. It's
It's
not
not
gonna
going to
matter.
come back. If you don't pick up some serious skill set at your at this stage of your life, that's why we have warehouses and Amazon, and until the
Yeah.
until the people break their back and go on disability, they stay on Amazon. Then they collect that disability check because they can't move their back.
And your retirement's not gonna be there the way the economy's looking at it. If you
So
don't make it,
that's the
Josh,
story.
make it
So
happen.
but I do have to appreciate what you have done. It's I have to tell you, I put up some videos saying the skill sets that people need to successfully sell financial service products is to be really good on the telephone and really good face to face. There's only one way to be good on the telephone. That's to be on the phone for multiple periods of time, months on end. If you
Yeah,
have the wherewithal to sit up straight, based on the financial and family situation where you felt the pressure to make money, I'm sure that
yeah,
caused you to sit up straight, concentrate, speak in a good form. Especially, you knew that first company that you worked that fired you. To get fired by a company is insulting, but you
yeah.
knew that you were not bringing in the money that they expected, and you know you were at the cut. They were probably deciding, should I fire him or not? You were not. You were
Yeah, they
pretty
were.
close. You were pretty close. It was just
And
a question of concentrating and getting a little bit better, and where it becomes instinctively. But to be working in a warehouse for a year of your life and flip right over to telephone sales is hard.
yeah, it's definitely hard. It's a discipline that you have to constantly check.
Right.
You got to form that discipline.
I worked in a takeout delicatessen. Now, it was one of the few jobs I ever got fired at. I was just to be able to stand up for 4 days, 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
It was hard for the first couple of days, and they fired me after a week.
Oh yeah, man. Like,
they
man,
actually fired me.
I honestly was like,
that's a selfish idea, but you picked up the skill set during that 6-week period, which never goes away.
couldn't be afraid to bet on myself, and as betting on myself, I had to use my own mind. I can't even use anybody else. I know you've been giving information, but I gotta have 3 critical thinking skills just to even know that you are as good as you say you are, or anybody else for that matter. So it's like, hey,
I'm trying to keep this relatively simple. We're just providing you a needed tool, which is the website quote engines. The simple steps to move up the search engine for free. At a certain point in time, which is right now, it's after 25 hits. We put these little ads on the side. We say to you to get rid of these little ads. It's $14.99 a month, which is way underpriced for what the quality of what this type of technology deserves. And if you don't want to pay that, we say to you, hey, sell these products through us that we're recommending. If you make a sale, we refund whatever you paid. Or if you haven't paid, you input the sale in the back office. Those ads disappear. So we're giving.
Yeah, I paid that yesterday.
And the contracts that we have are substantially higher than you can get any place else. So it's definitely not such a difficult decision. It's just a cookie cutter, very cookie cutter.
Yeah,
that's all it is. But
it's easy.
okay.
And then in an age of coronavirus, man, like this is gold. It's like a diamond in the rough right now. Like, I don't know why everybody ain't going this way.
Because believe it or not, if this was such an easy skill set, what you picked up to be good at closing telephonically, there would be no factories. No one, we would be paying $1 million for soy, because they would have to pay $100 an hour to get someone to work.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the cost of doing business.
Right. But there's a select group of people that are good at this job. The one I have to mention as well, especially in the marketplace of today, a lot of people who are have the gift of gab.
Yeah.
When they're in their early 20s and late teens, oftentimes they go to law school. And they're not financial salespeople. Financial salespeople who succeed are generally, for whatever reason, people that could really be good lawyers, but they never went to law school.
Oh yeah.
Those are the people. Those are the people I've noticed that do well.
Got to use the English language for what it's worth.
Then you have to get those people. Imagine getting a retainer, a $5,000-$10,000 retainer, then going before the judge and doing something similar. That's how these people make money. And you guys, hey, if you could close,
background deals anyway.
Right. Well, you had some attorney stuff going on at one point. I noticed. I'm looking at.
Oh yeah, I had to play 3D chess with everybody, man. That's what it's all about.
Okay, we are good. So Gary, we're just keeping it simple. You keep your stuff simple. You start off at one product, but ideally the financial service people that are making money are selling these retirement planning big ticket items.
Yeah.
And that's how you make a living.
Yeah. You see my son all over the place.
He's having a good time. He's having a good time.
Yeah. We got to think
Okay,
they just
Gary,
got
I'm gonna get going right now. I do appreciate you coming here today. Again, I'm here 6 days per week, Monday to Thursday, 12 noon Eastern time, Saturday, Sunday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Anyone who's on this call, please register for NAAIP. It will be something that will cause you to make more money. It's as simple as that. Your job, is to impress people. The website stuff we give you is as impressive as all heck. I would certainly hope that you would put a video at the top of your site with you and your son somehow.
Yeah, we
That's
we
probably
trying to start a YouTube channel now.
the ideal situation is if you flip your phone to the side and you
Yeah,
take a picture. Well, you would have to have someone else flip the phone to the side because it would have to be a little bit of a distance. And you put up a 10-second video.
yeah,
And it'll look really nice, especially a cute kid. A cute kid smiling and dancing and jumping up and down in one place. I've seen those type of videos. They look really nice at the header of your website. Your job is to connect with these people. And if they see you with your son,
yeah,
they will feel more of a connection.
yeah. That's how I made the first sale today.
So on your website, do me a favor, Gary. Get one of your female friends or male friends, or the guy delivering Amazon product. Get him a phone. Even this phone is not so bad. You flip it to the side, take a 10-second video, 10 to 12-second video with him. He all being happy and smiling and jumping up and down. And it looks really cute.
Yeah. Yeah, but
that's all you need.
I need to put him on there, get him a photo shoot ready, get him video shoot ready.
Photo shoot. Remember, we want 10 seconds, 10 to 15 seconds of standing in one place. In fact, I'll go to screen share right now. Let me click screen share.
Hey, Manny, you want to be on the video?
No, well, I'm just going to show you what these videos look like if you do it well. In fact, hold on a second. Let me get I have to go into, am I doing screen share now? Let me see if I'm doing screen share. Boom. Live.
And I'm just on Restream now.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna look at one of these websites to see who did a good one. I'm gonna show you what it could look like.
All right.
Let me see. I'm searching around for this because we just came out with video at the top of the site.
Okay.
And I can't. Let me see if I can I find it? Jack one. Okay, here's a little bit of an example, which is not a very good example. In your password protected back office, you've got I can't even say it. You've got 27 or so videos to choose from. This is one of them. It's not really moving much because we're on a share screen, but normally it would move. But this picture would look much better with a man and a son being all happy. I've seen it. One of the videos that were shown of the 27 videos, you notice there's a man and woman throwing up a baby, and it looks really cute.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
But you could do something better than that. You don't want to throw him up and down. If he's just standing in one place and dancing and being happy, it looks really nice.
Yeah, he was
dancing and being happy, just smiling, dancing and being happy, and everyone says he's so cute, and you have a story to tell, and they feel some sort of connection, and that's how you make money.
Yeah, I might think about that. I might have to get a cool background at the park downtown or something.
Right, you could do it in your house. You don't have to. Well, I guess holidays where little kids are dressed up. Christmas they're dressed up in their really nice clothes, a little bow tie, stuff like that looks really cute. And ideally, what we're looking for is people to use our technology as an incentive-based marketing tool where you set up websites for business owners, and if they see the video at the top, they go crazy.
And that's what I meant to ask you. if I bring somebody into this business, how do I sign them up, or just put them on a
Okay,
call, or is that how this goes?
I'm going to mention how it works. Okay, right. We're at the tail end of this website project. We have a few more things to do with my computer programmer. We're going to put a CRM on all these websites. We're going to put a last will and testament at the bottom of every website. I'm talking about your website.
Yeah.
You don't have to, for the last will and testament, you don't have to wait for us. You could do that yourself. There's quite a few companies. One is called doyourownwill.com. It may not be a bad idea to become a notary public, have a portable printer.
Yeah.
If you're doing stuff telephonically, however you decide to do it. If you offer value add services such as the last will and testament for people, people need a notary. They also need someone to witness the signature.
Yeah.
If you're dealing with final expense, you're dealing with a lot of small policies. But if you ever get into that stuff where you're making decent money, you want to keep in a local area where you could always jump over and collect the check.
Yeah.
So the incentive-based marketing is huge, and we will be moving this system over to a white label. White label means you're going to be able to offer these websites to other insurance agents. Those agents will have no idea that my company exists. We don't have it yet. When we have that, that's when you could go full steam on the recruiting. You could offer these people whatever you want. The two major life insurance companies that we're pushing, what we're encouraging people to contract for and sell, both of those companies make it extremely easy for you to recruit. The final expense one that you may have filled out the paperwork for, once you'll go into their back office, you send those people an invitation at whatever level you want. If you're at 125 or 122%, you put these people at 120, you just made yourself 25%, or you determine the numbers. I'm not involved. On the one that on the major top 5 mutual life insurance company, their system is I would have to send out the invitation for you. You just tell me their name, email, and what level you want them at.
Okay. Because I've been having a couple of people been asking questions. I need to do that.
The email will come from the insurance company. Yeah. I will send you a email that you would forward to them. You white out my name will not be there. They won't know that I exist. The problem would be the website stuff that we're offering. If you get your people to sign up, inevitably they'll know that my company exists and that we're offer these game-changing high commissions. It could be if stuff is coming in, you're bringing stuff on a regular basis. When these people request contracting for me, I will tell them, don't talk to me, speak to Garrett. I can't do anything for you, which I will do if stuff is coming in.
Yeah.
When everything is said and done, the big negative of the NAIP system for me and my company is we don't cause people to make sales. A very popular way to make recruiters in the insurance business is you really need local managers.
Yeah, that's
without those local game-changing managers, sales for the most part don't come in. So I would imagine when everything is said and done, especially when we get this white label system done, when people come into NAIP and say, I want website, and if I notice they're in your let's say you are making money, sales are happening. I say join Gary's team. If you look at the New York Life system, they've got these regional managers, regional offices. You've been through it with Bankers Life. They
all over the place. They even got football stadiums and stuff. But
they drive out with you for the first couple of sales because they at least want you to. I don't think the Bankers is such a successful system. I believe New York Life is much better because at least when you do make sales, they're bigger sales.
Yeah. They actually verify a lot of stuff in their sales process.
They're doing the IULs. The average sale is $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a year, as opposed to the Bankers Life stuff that you were buying leads and and the sales weren't coming in. It's just a much more successful system. But local recruiters, managers are needed for that system. It has to be where you hold someone's hand and you say, write out that list of 200 people, sit in front of a computer, learn the product line for A to Z. It's not going to be learned in a week. It's not going to be learned in a day or two. It'll probably take a week or two to learn. Then when you feel comfortable, then you write the list of the 200 relatives and friends, and local managers are needed for that.
Yep.
And the commission level that you're on is the highest out there. And there's plenty of room for you to have people below you and make a living.
Yeah.
Where it's definitely worth your
So I
while.
can give them like 100% if I want 20. If we give them 110 if I want 10. Hey, get out the chair.
But that's on the final expense. I should mention the mutual insurance companies definitely pay less because it's a good deal for the client. It's these final expense companies where they could go higher because it's a little bit expensive to the client.
Okay.
It's not such a good deal. Like you probably don't want to sell yourself a final expense policy, but when you see the mutual companies that are paying between 5 and 6% interest on whole life, it's a good deal for retirement planning. The illustration sells itself.
Okay.
So it's actually a good deal. You could sell this to family members. You could sell this to friends, which you can't really do on these final expense policies.
Oh yeah, I got a couple people in mind. I'm gonna test this first off because I gotta start making a couple sales over here because I want to see how the whole thing plays out. I wrote a couple policies, like example policies, but I ain't really submitted anything with those two companies yet.
Okay, Gary, I'm gonna get going. I know you make money on a regular basis, so I don't want to disrupt you too much. I do thank you for being here, and we're looking for you to be the go-to guy in your part of Tennessee.
All right.
I'll see you then. Take care. Have a good day.
Yeah. All right. You too, man.
I'm gonna end this live stream at YouTube, and I'll be here tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern time. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.